Success starts with what we tell ourselves. Every thought we repeat becomes a belief, and every belief shapes our reality. Today I'm going to share something simple yet life-changing, a practice that has transformed countless lives. It's not magic, it's the power of words. Imagine waking up every day and saying something so powerful, so inspiring, that it rewires your mind for greatness. That's exactly what we're going to do. So, are you ready to unlock your full potential? Say this 100 times every day and watch your life change. Repetition is one of the most powerful forces in shaping our thoughts, beliefs, and ultimately our reality. Our minds are constantly processing information, and what we expose ourselves to repeatedly becomes ingrained in our subconscious. This is why successful individuals emphasize the importance of daily affirmations, positive self-talk, and mental conditioning. The things we say to ourselves over and over again become our truth. Whether we realize it or not, our inner dialogue determines our confidence, self-worth, and ability to take action. If we repeatedly tell ourselves we are capable, strong, and deserving of success, our minds accept these statements as facts. On the other hand, if we constantly reinforce negative thoughts, they also become deeply embedded in our subconscious, leading to self-doubt and fear. The brain is designed to recognize patterns. When we hear or say something often enough, our neural pathways strengthen around that idea, making it easier for us to believe and act upon it. This is why advertising works. Companies know that if they repeatedly show us their message, we will begin to associate their product with the emotion they want us to feel. The same principle applies to our thoughts and beliefs. If we tell ourselves every day that we are disciplined, focused, and resilient, we will start to embody those traits naturally. Our subconscious mind does not distinguish between reality and repetition. It simply absorbs what it is exposed to most frequently. Athletes, performers, and high achievers across all industries understand this principle well. They don't just practice their craft, they also practice their mindset. They repeat mantras, visualize success, and mentally rehearse their actions until their confidence becomes unshakable. A basketball player, for instance, doesn't just shoot free throws physically, they also visualize making the perfect shot over and over again in their mind. This mental repetition reinforces their ability to succeed under pressure. The same concept applies to anyone striving for greatness in any field. If we repeatedly affirm our abilities and visualize ourselves succeeding, we condition our minds to expect success rather than failure. Consider the way children learn language. A child does not understand words or their meanings at first, but through constant repetition they begin to associate sounds with objects, emotions, and actions. This process happens naturally because their brains absorb information through repeated exposure. The same is true for adults. We can teach ourselves new ways of thinking simply by exposing our minds to empowering messages daily. When we say something enough times, our subconscious starts to accept it as reality, and we begin to act in alignment with that belief. Repetition is the foundation of habit formation. Every habit, whether good or bad, is reinforced through repeated action and thought. If we tell ourselves we are productive and motivated every day, we will start behaving in ways that reflect those statements. If we constantly reinforce procrastination or self-doubt, those habits become difficult to break. This is why affirmations and positive self-talk are so effective. They override negative programming and install new, empowering beliefs. Our thoughts lead to emotions, emotions lead to actions, and actions shape our outcomes. By controlling our repeated thoughts, we take control of our destiny. There is also a scientific basis for the power of repetition in shaping our mindset. Neuroscience has shown that the brain has a phenomenon called neuroplasticity, which means it can rewire itself based on our experiences and repeated thoughts. Every time we repeat a thought, we strengthen the neural connections associated with that thought, making it more dominant in our thinking patterns. If we constantly repeat empowering statements, we are literally rewiring our brains to support our success. This is why people who practice daily affirmations often experience a shift in their self-perception and overall mindset. Our beliefs are not fixed. They are shaped by what we expose ourselves to repeatedly. If someone grows up hearing that they are not good enough, they will likely carry that belief into adulthood. However, if they begin consciously repeating statements that affirm their worth and capability, over time their brain will replace the old belief with the new one. This is why personal development experts emphasize the importance of surrounding yourself with positive influences and messages. The more you expose yourself to uplifting, empowering ideas, the more your mind will absorb and internalize them. Marketing and media also understand the power of repetition. Brands spend billions of dollars ensuring their messages are constantly in front of us because they know that repeated exposure leads to familiarity and trust. When we see or hear something frequently, it becomes ingrained in our minds, whether we are aware of it or not. This is why it's crucial to be intentional about what we repeat to ourselves daily. If external sources can shape our thinking through repetition, we can harness this power for our own benefit by consciously choosing what we expose ourselves to. Many of the greatest leaders and innovators in history have understood the power of repetition in mastering their craft and developing an unshakable mindset. Thomas Edison, for example, failed thousands of times before successfully inventing the light bulb. He did not allow repeated failures to define him because he conditioned his mind to see every attempt as a step closer to success. He likely repeated empowering thoughts to himself, reinforcing his belief in his ability to achieve his goal. This relentless repetition of determination and perseverance allowed him to keep going despite obstacles. Public speakers and influential figures also use repetition to leave a lasting impact. When delivering a speech, they often repeat key phrases multiple times to ensure the audience absorbs the message. Martin Luther King Jr.'s famous "I Have a Dream" speech is a prime example. The repeated phrase "I have a dream" reinforced his vision in the minds of millions, making it one of the most memorable speeches in history. The same technique can be applied to our own lives. We must repeat our goals, affirmations, and beliefs until they become second nature. Even in the realm of personal development, the most successful self-help programs emphasize repetition. Whether it's writing goals daily, listening to motivational content repeatedly, or practicing affirmations every morning, the key is consistent exposure. The more we engage with positive messages, the more they shape our reality. This is why reading a book once may not be enough to create lasting change, but revisiting its principles repeatedly can lead to deep transformation. People who achieve extraordinary success are often those who have mastered the art of mental conditioning through repetition. They do not allow negative thoughts to dominate their minds because they consciously replace them with empowering ones. They understand that if they say something often enough, their subconscious will accept it as truth. This is why athletes visualize their victories, why successful entrepreneurs affirm their abilities, and why high achievers continuously reinforce their confidence. They are not relying on luck. They are programming their minds for success through repeated thoughts and affirmations. It is important to note that repetition alone is not enough. It must be combined with belief and emotion. Saying something without feeling or conviction will not have the same effect as repeating a statement with full belief and intention. The most effective affirmations are those that are spoken with confidence, visualized with clarity, and felt deeply. When we attach strong emotions to our repeated thoughts, they become even more powerful in shaping our reality. If we want to create lasting change in our lives, we must take control of what we repeat daily, the words we say to ourselves, the thoughts we focus on, and the messages we expose ourselves to all contribute to the reality we experience. By harnessing the power of repetition, we can break free from self-imposed limitations, reprogram our minds for success, and unlock our full potential. The words we speak to ourselves shape the way we see the world and define what we believe is possible. Our beliefs are not random. They are built upon the language we use every day. Whether spoken out loud or silently in our minds, words have the power to either lift us up or hold us back. When we repeatedly tell ourselves something, it becomes ingrained in our subconscious, turning into a belief that influences our decisions, actions, and ultimately our results. This is why the language we choose is so important. If we tell ourselves we are strong, capable, and worthy, we begin to embody those traits. If we constantly reinforce doubt, fear, or inadequacy, those negative beliefs become our reality. The human brain is designed to absorb and internalize information. When we hear or read something enough times, we begin to accept it as true, even if it started as an opinion or an external influence. This is how societal norms, cultural beliefs, and personal identities are formed. From childhood, we are surrounded by words, what our parents tell us, what teachers say, what we hear in the media. These words shape our understanding of the world and, more importantly, our understanding of ourselves. If a child is constantly told they are intelligent, they grow up with a belief in their ability to learn and succeed. If they are repeatedly told they are not good enough, they carry that limiting belief into adulthood. The words that surround us become the foundation of our self-perception. This principle does not just apply to childhood. It is relevant at every stage of life. No matter how old we are, the words we hear and the words we tell ourselves continue to shape our beliefs. If we start a new job and tell ourselves, "I'm not good at this," we begin to reinforce that thought. The more we repeat it, the more it turns into a belief that affects our confidence and performance. However, if we instead say, "I am learning and I will improve," we create a belief in our ability to grow and succeed. The only difference is the choice of words. Yet that simple choice determines whether we approach a challenge with fear or confidence. Many successful people have mastered the art of using words to shape their beliefs. They understand that before achieving anything externally, they must first develop the right mindset internally. Athletes, entrepreneurs, and leaders often use affirmations to condition their minds for success. They do not leave their confidence up to chance. They deliberately choose empowering words and repeat them until they become ingrained belief. Muhammad Ali famously declared, "I am the greatest," long before he became a champion. He did not wait for external validation. He created his belief through his words. By repeatedly affirming his greatness, he conditioned his mind to see himself as a winner, and that belief influenced his actions in the ring. The same concept applies to everyday life. If we want to develop confidence, we must speak to ourselves with confidence. If we want to be resilient, we must use words that reinforce our ability to overcome challenges. The subconscious mind does not differentiate between truth and repetition. It simply absorbs what it hears most often. This is why negative self-talk can be so damaging. If we constantly say, "I'm not good enough," our subconscious accepts it as fact and looks for evidence to support that belief. However, if we replace that phrase with "I am capable," our subconscious starts looking for ways to prove that statement true. The words we use act as commands to our brain, directing it to find evidence that supports our beliefs. Consider the way language affects our emotions. If we describe a situation as a failure, we feel discouraged and powerless. But if we call it a lesson, we shift our perspective and see it as an opportunity for growth. The words we use determine how we interpret our experiences. Someone who constantly says life is hard will experience life as difficult because their belief filters everything through that lens. But someone who says life is full of opportunities will naturally focus on possibilities rather than obstacles. The external world may be the same, but the way it is perceived is entirely shaped by internal beliefs, which are formed by words. Words also influence the way others see us and interact with us. People who speak with confidence, using strong and positive language, are perceived as more capable and charismatic. This is why great leaders are also great communicators. They use words that inspire, uplift, and create belief in their vision. Martin Luther King Jr. did not say, "I hope for a better future." He said, "I have a dream." His choice of words created a powerful belief, not just in himself, but in millions of people who shared his vision. The language we use does not just shape our personal beliefs, it also has the power to shape collective beliefs and influence the world around us. When we change our words, we change our beliefs, and when we change our beliefs, we change our reality. This is why affirmations are such a powerful tool. By repeatedly saying positive statements, we train our subconscious mind to accept them as truth. It is not about lying to ourselves or pretending to be something we are not. It is about intentionally choosing the words that align with the person we want to become. If we want to be more disciplined, we should say, "I am disciplined and focused." If we want to build self-worth, we should say, "I am valuable and deserving of success." At first, these statements might feel unfamiliar, especially if we have spent years believing the opposite. But with repetition, they become second nature, just like any habit. Some people dismiss affirmations as unrealistic or wishful thinking, but science supports their effectiveness. Studies in neuroscience show that when we repeat certain thoughts, we strengthen neural pathways associated with those thoughts. Over time, these pathways become dominant, making the thoughts feel more natural and automatic. This is why changing our self-talk can feel difficult at first. It requires consciously creating new neural connections while weakening old ones. But just as a muscle grows stronger with exercise, our beliefs grow stronger with repetition. The more we reinforce positive words, the more our brains accept them as truth. This concept also explains why it is difficult to break free from limiting beliefs. If someone has spent years telling themselves, "I'm not good with money," they have reinforced that belief so many times that it feels like an unchangeable truth. However, the moment they start saying, "I am financially responsible and capable," they begin to rewire their thinking. At first, the new belief may feel unnatural, but with enough repetition, it replaces the old one. This is how personal transformation happens, not through luck or external circumstances, but through the deliberate use of words that create new beliefs. The people we surround ourselves with also play a role in shaping our beliefs through their words. If we are constantly around negativity, hearing others complain and speak in limiting terms, we absorb that language and adopt those beliefs. But if we surround ourselves with people who speak positively, who encourage growth and possibility, their words influence us in a powerful way. This is why successful people are intentional about the conversations they engage in and the messages they consume. They understand that words, whether spoken by themselves or by others, have the power to shape beliefs. Changing our beliefs begins with changing our words. Every time we catch ourselves using limiting language, we have the opportunity to reframe it. Instead of saying, "I can't do this," we can say, "I am learning and improving." Instead of saying, "I always fail," we can say, "Every setback is a stepping stone to success." These small shifts in language may seem insignificant at first, but over time they create a profound transformation in the way we see ourselves and the world. The process of changing beliefs is not about forcing ourselves to think positively. It is about consistently choosing the words that support the reality we want to create. Success in any area of life is not determined by one-time efforts, luck, or momentary bursts of motivation. It is the result of consistent actions repeated over time until they produce the desired outcome. Consistency is the foundation of mastery, the bridge between goals and achievements, and the force that turns potential into reality. No matter how talented someone is, without consistency, their efforts will be scattered and ineffective. The most successful individuals understand that showing up every single day, even when they don't feel like it, is what separates them from the rest. Whether in fitness, business, relationships, or personal development, the key to long-term success is the ability to persistently take action, reinforcing habits that lead to growth and improvement. Consistency is not about perfection. Many people mistakenly believe that in order to achieve their goals, they must be flawless in their execution. However, the truth is that progress comes from repeatedly taking small steps even when setbacks occur. A person who exercises 3 times a week consistently for a year will see greater results than someone who works out intensely for a month and then quits. The same principle applies to learning a new skill, building a business, or developing self-discipline. It is not about doing everything perfectly all at once. It is about committing to steady progress, day after day, until the effort compounds into significant results. The power of consistency can be observed in nature. Rivers do not carve through rock by force, but by continuously flowing over time. Trees do not grow to great heights overnight. They develop steadily, season by season. The most profound and lasting changes occur gradually through persistent and repeated effort. Human growth follows the same pattern. A person does not become successful, skilled, or confident overnight. It is the small daily actions, reading a few pages of a book, practicing a craft, saving a small amount of money, exercising regularly, that lead to long-term transformation. Those who understand this embrace the process, knowing that every small effort contributes to a greater outcome. One of the biggest obstacles to consistency is the desire for immediate results. In a world that promotes instant gratification, patience has become rare. People want success without the effort, results without the process, and rewards without the struggle. This mindset leads to frustration and disappointment when things do not happen as quickly as expected. However, true success is built on delayed gratification. The most accomplished individuals are those who stay committed to their goals even when they do not see immediate progress. They understand that results take time and that consistency is what ensures they will eventually achieve their vision. Every great achievement in history has been the result of consistent effort. The world's greatest athletes did not reach their level of excellence by training sporadically. They committed to daily practice, refining their skills over years. Musicians do not master their instruments by playing only when they feel inspired. They practice regularly, developing muscle memory and precision. Writers do not produce bestsellers by waiting for motivation to strike. They write consistently, honing their craft one sentence at a time. Behind every success story is a person who remained dedicated to their journey, even on days when they felt like giving up. Consistency also builds trust and credibility. In business, customers are more likely to trust a company that delivers reliable results over time. A brand that maintains a consistent level of quality earns loyalty from its audience. The same applies to personal relationships. Trust is not built through grand gestures, but through consistent actions, showing up, being reliable, and following through on promises. People who demonstrate consistency in their words and actions develop a reputation for dependability, which opens doors to greater opportunities and stronger connections. Another important aspect of consistency is the way it rewires the brain. Neuroscience shows that habits are formed through repeated actions. When a person engages in a behavior consistently, neural pathways in the brain strengthen, making the action more automatic. This is why routines are so powerful. The first few times someone exercises in the morning, it may feel difficult. But after doing it consistently for a few weeks, it becomes second nature. The same applies to waking up early, practicing gratitude, or improving communication skills. By consistently reinforcing positive behaviors, they become deeply ingrained, making success feel effortless over time. One of the biggest challenges people face when trying to be consistent is overcoming resistance. There will always be days when motivation is low, when distractions are tempting, and when progress feels slow. This is where discipline comes into play. Motivation is temporary. It comes and goes based on emotions. Discipline, on the other hand, is the ability to take action regardless of how one feels. People who achieve greatness do not rely on motivation alone. They cultivate discipline through consistency. They train themselves to follow through on their commitments, even when it is inconvenient or difficult. Many people fall into the trap of inconsistency because they start with enthusiasm but lose momentum when results do not appear quickly. This is often seen in fitness, where individuals commit to a new workout routine, see little change after a few weeks, and give up. However, those who stay consistent, even when progress seems invisible, eventually see results. Fatigue, doubt, and external pressures may challenge commitment, but those who push through develop the resilience needed to sustain long-term success. Consistency is also a key factor in self-improvement. The difference between someone who remains stagnant and someone who continuously evolves is the commitment to daily growth. Reading, learning, practicing, and reflecting on a regular basis all contribute to an individual's development. The best version of oneself is not achieved through occasional bursts of effort, but through a lifelong dedication to improvement. Even small daily actions, listening to educational content, practicing mindfulness, setting goals, compound into significant personal transformation over time. In any endeavor, momentum plays a crucial role. When an action is repeated consistently, it builds momentum, making it easier to continue. This is why starting is often the hardest part. But once consistency is established, the effort feels less demanding. The human brain adapts to repeated actions, making them feel natural and automatic. A person who consistently wakes up early no longer struggles with the habit because their body and mind have adapted to the routine. The same applies to productivity, creativity, and any skill. Once momentum is built, maintaining consistency becomes easier. Consistency also creates a sense of accountability. When individuals set clear goals and commit to daily action, they hold themselves responsible for their progress. This accountability reduces the likelihood of procrastination and excuses. Those who track their consistency, whether through journaling, progress charts, or accountability partners, are more likely to stay committed. Measuring progress, even in small increments, reinforces motivation and provides a sense of achievement. The compound effect of consistency is one of the most powerful forces for success. Small, repeated efforts may seem insignificant in the moment, but over time, they create extraordinary results. A person who writes just 1 page a day will have a full book in a year. Someone who saves a small amount of money consistently will accumulate significant wealth over time. A person who practices gratitude daily will cultivate a more positive and resilient mindset. The key is to trust the process and remain committed, even when progress feels slow or invisible. Many people fail to achieve their goals not because they lack ability, but because they lack consistency. They start strong but fail to follow through. They seek quick fixes instead of long-term commitment. They allow temporary setbacks to derail their progress. However, those who succeed understand that results are built through persistent action. They do not rely on inspiration alone. They create habits, stick to their routines, and show up even on the hardest days. Consistency is what turns dreams into reality, effort into excellence, and goals into achievements. It is the invisible force that separates those who succeed from those who quit. Every great accomplishment is built on a foundation of small, repeated actions that accumulate over time. Nothing in life changes without action. No amount of wishing, hoping, or dreaming can replace the power of taking action. Many people spend their time thinking about success, planning their future, and imagining the life they want, but they never take the necessary steps to make it happen. The difference between those who achieve their goals and those who do not is not intelligence, talent, or luck. It is action. Action is the bridge between ideas and results. Without it, even the best plans are meaningless. The world does not reward intentions, it rewards actions. Every successful person, no matter their background, has one thing in common. They took consistent, deliberate action toward their goals. The greatest ideas in the world remain useless unless they are acted upon. Someone could have a brilliant business idea, but if they never take the steps to start, that idea will remain just a thought. Someone could dream of writing a book, but if they never put words on paper, that book will never exist. Action is the force that turns potential into reality. The more action one takes, the more progress they make. The less action they take, the more stagnant they remain. Even small steps matter because they create momentum. Once action begins, things start to change and new opportunities arise. Many people wait for the perfect moment to take action. They believe they need more information, more confidence, or better conditions before they start. This is one of the biggest mistakes a person can make. There is never a perfect time to begin. Waiting only leads to more delays and missed opportunities. The most successful individuals understand that action comes first and clarity follows. They do not wait until they feel ready. They take the first step and figure things out along the way. Confidence is not something people are born with. It is built through action. The more a person does something, the more comfortable and skilled they become. Fear is one of the biggest barriers to taking action. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of making mistakes. These are the thoughts that hold people back from pursuing their goals. But fear does not go away by thinking about it. It goes away by taking action despite it. The only way to overcome fear is to face it head on. When someone takes action in spite of their fears, they realize that most of their worries were exaggerated. They begin to understand that failure is not something to be avoided, but something to be learned from. Every successful person has failed multiple times, but they succeeded because they kept taking action despite their failures. One of the most powerful things about action is that it creates motivation. Many people believe they need motivation before they take action, but the truth is the opposite. Action creates motivation. When someone takes a small step, they feel a sense of accomplishment, which fuels them to take another step. This is why starting is often the hardest part. Once action begins, momentum builds, making it easier to continue. People who struggle with procrastination often think they need to feel motivated before they start. But the reality is that motivation comes from doing. The moment they begin working on a task, they feel more engaged and their energy increases. Successful individuals understand that action must be intentional. It is not just about being busy, it is about being productive. Many people mistake activity for progress. They spend time planning, organizing, or researching, but never actually do the work that matters. True action is focused on results. It is about taking the steps that move a person closer to their goals, even when those steps are uncomfortable. Growth happens outside of the comfort zone. Every breakthrough, every transformation, every major achievement is the result of someone taking bold, decisive action despite uncertainty. Consistency in action is what leads to mastery. A person does not become great at something by doing it once. They become great by doing it repeatedly. The best athletes, musicians, entrepreneurs, and leaders have one thing in common. They put in the work every single day. They take action even when they do not feel like it. They do not rely on emotions to dictate their behavior. They rely on discipline and commitment. Action becomes a habit, and that habit leads to expertise. No one starts as an expert, but anyone can become one through relentless action and continuous improvement. The power of action also applies to personal growth. Someone who wants to build confidence must take action by stepping outside their comfort zone, speaking up and facing challenges. Someone who wants to develop a strong mindset must take action by practicing positive thinking, controlling their emotions, and learning from setbacks. No transformation happens by accident. It happens through deliberate action, repeated over time until it becomes second nature. The most successful people are not necessarily the smartest or the most talented. They are the ones who take action when others hesitate. Action also separates dreamers from achievers. Many people talk about what they want, but only a few actually do the work required to make it happen. Ideas are worthless without execution. A person could have all the knowledge in the world, but if they do not apply it, it serves no purpose. Knowledge is only powerful when it is put into action. The most successful individuals do not just consume information, they use it. They take what they learn and apply it in real life. They do not just read about success, they practice the habits that lead to success. Action builds momentum, and momentum creates unstoppable progress. When a person starts taking consistent action, they reach a point where their progress becomes self-sustaining. They no longer have to push themselves as hard because action has become a habit. At this stage, results start to compound. Small efforts turn into big achievements. A writer who commits to writing every day suddenly has a finished book. An entrepreneur who works on their business every day suddenly sees it growing. A person who exercises daily suddenly notices their body transforming. All of this is the result of consistent action. One of the most important things to understand about action is that it is always within one's control. People cannot control their circumstances, but they can control their actions. They cannot always control the outcome, but they can control the effort they put in. This is empowering because it means success is not determined by luck. It is determined by effort. The more action someone takes, the more they increase their chances of success. Even when things do not go as planned, taking action ensures they are always learning, growing, and moving forward. Excuses are the enemy of action. People who make excuses for why they cannot take action will always find reasons to stay stuck. They blame their circumstances, their past, or their lack of resources, but the truth is that action is always possible. Even small steps count. A person who cannot do everything can still do something. Progress does not require massive leaps, it requires steady movement. Those who take action despite their challenges eventually find solutions, while those who wait for the perfect moment remain in the same place. Success is not about talent, luck, or intelligence. It is about action. The people who achieve their goals are the ones who take action, fail, learn, adjust, and keep going. They understand that results do not come from thinking about success, but from working toward it. They do not wait for permission, approval, or guarantees. They take the first step and figure it out along the way. Action is what creates confidence, builds skills, and leads to mastery. The more action someone takes, the more they grow, improve, and achieve.